What's up? Welcome into your Daily Buckeye Blitz for a Wednesday. It's the middle of the week, the hump day. Kind of a holiday eve, we'll call it 4th of July Eve. So hopefully you guys got tomorrow off. Maybe you took Friday off, stretch that thing out into a nice 4-dayer. Sounds like a plan to me. Please, I want to remind you that all the shirts that you see me wearing on the show, I have designed and are all for sale on the buckeyecast.com. So check those out. If you see something you like, it's definitely there. Plus a lot more. I have a ton of designs that I've put out over the years, and they're just waiting for you to buy them. Lonely shirts. Please take home a lonely shirt. Cue the Sarah McLachlan music. Anyway, today we're doing another freshman focus, trying to crank out one of these every week. Not to go overboard with them, but I think it's nice to talk about some of these, or all of these freshmen as they're coming in. Plus, we got plenty of time to kill between now and the start of fall camp, where we really get back into the daily grind of the team focused stuff. So today we're talking about the former Canadian, former tennis player, but you didn't know that, Max LeBlanc, 4-star tight end. So let's get into it. Strike a pose. There's nothing to it. That was weird. So Max LeBlanc, 6'3.5", 222 out of Baylor School in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He's a 4-star, 9.114. Tight ends never get good ratings, man. I don't know why they even bother. Anyway, he was nationally ranked number 258, number 14 tight end, number 6 player in the state of Tennessee. He had the offers from everybody: Bama, Georgia, obviously Ohio State. So don't look at the rating, look at the offers. It's usually more accurate. Tells you more about the player. So Max LeBlanc, he never played football ever before 2018. That was only 6 years ago, folks. He grew up in Canada originally, I believe Montreal, or Quebec, same shit. His father, Sebastian, was a tennis star in Canada. He won 3 junior Grand Slams. He represented Canada in the Davis Cup from 94 to 97. Max was raised on the courts with a racket in his hands, but it was assumed that he would just follow in his father's footsteps and continue on the tennis legacy. But that all changed when Max realized tennis wasn't for him. He feels he's more of a team player. He likes being part of the group. So after quitting tennis, Max tried out for the football team and never looked back. In 2022, after a few seasons playing football in Canada, his family moved from Quebec to Chattanooga, Tennessee. The move, that would be a weird move, wouldn't it? Quebec's kind of like old world European everything, like architecture, food, all the shit. I think they still speak French there, actually. So imagine going from a city with some culture to freaking Chattanooga, Tennessee. I think Chattanooga is like an old word that means meth, amphetamines or something. I don't know. But anyways, so big move for him. The move jump-started his football career, though, as a high school recruit. He was a big fan of the Buckeyes ever since he started playing football. LeBlanc was the first of 2 tight ends to commit to the Buckeyes in the 2024 class, him and Demarion Witten. So, first-year tight ends coach Keenan Bailey offered Max LeBlanc in 2023, January 24th. He didn't have a 24/7 sports composite ranking, even with 20 Division I offers. Again, look at the offer list, not the rankings sometimes. Visited Ohio State on March 30th. Then LeBlanc committed to the Buckeyes 2 weeks later, right before the 2023 spring game. So he was Keenan Bailey's first commitment as a position coach. So it's a feather in the cap for Bailey. Max's high school coach, Eric Kimry, said back in April 2023, quote, "He's an unbelievable young man who comes from a great family. I know very I know very early in the process, Ohio State was a school that he had on his eye on. When they offered, he was excited. In my role, all I try and do is help families make decisions best for their son and give them any guide rails. Those should be guardrails that they might need from experience and help them decide what's in their heart. Clearly, Ohio State was in his. So Max committed to Ohio State over the Cheaters, North Carolina, Tennessee, Bama, Georgia, ton of them. In high school, though, as a junior, Max LeBlanc caught 39 passes, 695 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He helped lead Baylor School to an 11-2 record. It's a big-time football program there. He lined up as a wide receiver, primarily in the slot. He also showed off his blocking ability as a traditional inline tight end on running plays. Kimry, his coach, said when he knew LeBlanc was going to be a Power 5 player, quote, "The first time I ever saw him run a route. I coached tight ends in the SEC. He was at South Carolina 2 years ago. And so I feel like I have a pretty decent eye. The first time you see him, I feel like he impresses you with his stature. He's almost 6'5", and his hands are circus level big. Once he started running, I saw the fluidity of how he moves and just the natural way in which he catches the football. All it took was 2 routes before we said, well, this guy is going to have a good year for us at Baylor School." He continued on, quote, "He understands how to run routes and leverage. He has such huge radius to catch the ball because he's so long. His hands are so good. He could play on Saturdays now when it comes to that, but they're going to get a good one." LeBlanc was even better in his senior season with 49 catches, 884 yards, 10 touchdowns. Nice year for a tight end. So as far as his impact on the Buckeyes, with Cade Stover heading off to the NFL, the Buckeyes tight end room, doesn't have much experience. You got G. Scott Jr. He's your likely starter this year in 2024. Plus you got Jelani Thurman coming back his second year. And you got the transfer from Ohio, Will Kazmarek. They're candidates to play major roles, but, we're talking about spots down the depth chart here. You also got walk-on Patrick Gerd. He could push for a spot in the depth chart. LeBlanc's first season or 2 in Columbus will be focused on developing his body off the field. He's also going to learn how to become a legitimate Big Ten tight end on the field. We all know that tight end is a position where players often need multiple years to develop before playing at Ohio State. Max wasn't an early enrollee, so he's a few months behind all the other guys that came in back in January. So he's probably a redshirt, pretty likely. His coach in high school talked about the aspects of his game that will need the most work. Quote, "I think the same thing every 17 to 19-year-old needs when playing Power 5 football, which is just a little bit of time and strength. You're blocking 22 to 23-year-old grown men. I'd say the same thing about anybody going to play on that level. It takes time to acclimate to the strength and size of the game, but he'll be able to do it well. He does all the little things right, and is probably the hardest worker on our entire team." So great words to hear from the head coach who would know about Max. So long-term, Gerd is the only tight end on Ohio State's 2024 roster who is out of eligibility after this season. G. Scott does have the COVID year because he was a 2020 recruit. So he does have one more year, a 6th year. But the depth chart won't change much for LeBlanc in 2025. If he adds some muscle and size to his frame, picks up the offense quickly, he could force his way onto the field eventually. But LeBlanc should fight for a spot in the 2 deep in 2025. That's most realistic. Then in his 3rd season, he should make a big push for playing time and possibly be a starter. So expect him to play a major role for the Buckeyes as an upperclassman. A player comparison would be Marcus Baugh, because he played very little in his first 3 years as a Buckeye. He had 3 catches for 34 yards and a touchdown in his first 3 years. Then he made the most of his role during his final 2 seasons at Ohio State. At 6'5", 250, he combined for 52 receptions, 573 yards, and 7 touchdowns in his last 2 years. As a senior, he finished with he had 28 catches that year, 304 yards, and 5 touchdowns in 14 games. So, while I will say Max LeBlanc is more athletic than Marcus Ball, Ball was good in the passing game and as a blocker in the run game. He had a similar skill set to LeBlanc, but I believe Max is going to get more opportunities to contribute, even if he has to wait his turn, for a season or two. So I think his skills are going to bode well down the road as he develops, gets bigger and everything. So look for Max LeBlanc out there. So I got for you today. Talk to you tomorrow. Go Bucks.